Hey guys, welcome back to Angular 10 Spring Boot CRUD Full Stack Application tutorial series. Now let's create Update Employee REST API. Go to the Employee Controller. Within Employee Controller, let me just write the comment here. Update Employee REST API. Okay, so just follow the steps. Public and response entity, and just pass type as employee, and let's give a method name as update employee. Okay, make this E as caps, and we are going to pass ID as a method argument, along with that the object of the employee class. So basically client sends updated employee object in a request body. For that we are going to use employee object here. Now what we'll do, we'll use annotations over here. So let's use put mapping annotation for update operation. So this method will basically handles a put request. For that we are going to use @put mapping annotation. Let's configure REST endpoint URL over here, /employees/ just pass a path variable here, that is ID. Now let's map this path variable with a Java variable by using @path variable annotation. And also we are going to directly map a request JSON object into a Java object. For that we are going to use @request body annotation. Pretty simple, right? Great. So to update an employee, first we need to retrieve our existing employee from the database. For that what we will do, we will reuse this code. Just copy this code. So this will basically retrieve an employee by ID. If the employee is not existing in database, then it simply throws resource not found exception. So look at here, this is the duplicate local variable employee. Here just pass this as let's rename this object as employee details. Now what we'll do, we'll update this retrieved employee object with a request employee object. Okay, just change the first name, employee details dot get first name. Similarly, let's also change last name, employee details dot get last name, employee dot set email ID, and let's get an email ID from the employee details object and set to the employee object. Now once we set all the information that we want to update to the employee object, we simply save this employee object to the database. Let's go ahead and let's save this updated employee object to the database. Let's use save method and just pass the employee object as a method argument, and here we store the updated employee object in a separate employee variable, and we simply return this object to the client. For that just use return response entity dot OK. So this is 200 status, and in a body just type updated employee. Alright, I think that is pretty much. So what we have done, we have retrieved an employee from the database, and we have added all the updated information to the employee object, and we have stored that employee object into a database, and we have just returned an updated employee object to the client. Pretty simple REST API. Now let's run the Spring Boot project and let's test this REST API using Postman REST client. Alright guys, Spring Boot application is running on Tomcat server on port 8080. Let's go back to the Postman REST client. Go to the new tab and just type localhost 8080/API/v1/employees, and this is the update REST API. So select put HTTP method and go to the header, and we are sending JSON as a request body, right? So for that, let's use content type as application/JSON, and I can go back to the body. In a body we are sending a JSON, right? So let me copy the JSON object from the post request and let me paste in a body. And what we'll do is simply update a employee, that is a Ramesh employee. Let me show you that. Go back to the MySQL workbench. So look at here, this is the table. It has 4 records. We are going to update the employee with ID 1. Okay, that is a Ramesh employee. So let's pass ID here to the URL as a path variable, and I'm going to update a first name from Ramesh to Ram, and last name from Patare to something like Jadhav, and email ID from ramesh@gmail.com to ram@gmail.com. So look at here, first name is Ramesh, last name Patare, email ID ramesh@gmail.com, right? So I'm going to update these details with these details. Okay, so once you configure all the details, hit send button. Yeah, here we go. So look at here the response. We got a updated record in a response, and we have successfully updated first name, last name, and email address. Let's verify in a table. So let's query the select statement here. So look at here, a record, first record is get successfully updated. Alright guys, we have successfully created updated REST API, and we have also tested it using Postman REST client. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in next one.